Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Rogers. It's October 27th.
And this is Russell Rogers. We're the Rogers team from Keller Southlake. We're your DFW Housing Pros. Let's talk DFW real estate. So, Doug, today, let's give them 5 items to complete before starting their housing search.
Okay. Here's the plan. You got to start out with knowing where you stand. Do you know your credit score? And do you understand the ratios that they're going to talk about? The front end ratio, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and then the back end ratio, which are your revolving debts, car payments, credit cards, student loans, alimony, anything that costs you monthly, and it revolves over 6 months. So you've got to understand both of those ratios. Now, historically, everyone says, well, let's keep your housing cost at 30% of your gross monthly income or less. Conventional financing likes 25%. FHA can be a little more, a little less. FHA has a little different rule, and so does VA. But you've got to start there and understand principal and interest, taxes and insurance. And those are our kind of our bedrock of where we're going to start. And where do you go to find these things out?
Yeah, so I think the first step, and correct me if I'm wrong for what you like to see, but I think talking to the lender is first. Now, you can look at your credit score on a lot of different sites. There's some reputable ones, all the different credit agencies, but I always just like to start with a lender, put in my information. You know, we had Craig. There's also a lot of other good ones. You can check out our website as well for other references or contact us. But I think that's a good first step because they're going to tell you a lot of this. So if you're not good with math, numbers, finance, if this is all Greek to you, that's a good first step to at least get an idea of what we're even talking about and get the legitimate numbers from them.
Okay, and here's one tip in that direction. Do not go to the 1-800 lender that you see on TV or you see in an advertisement, because you're going to get some guy in a cubicle who's going to run through things real fast, and you will be qualified. Every time the 1-800 lender says, it's great, you got no problems, here we go, we can get you done. If you call one of our lenders, they're going to say, well, if you'll do the following things, we can improve and we can get a better rate and we can work things out in the best interest of your situation. But the 1-800 lender who doesn't look anyone in the eye and doesn't have any accountability to the local real estate community, they're not your best call. Let's work on something else. Secondly, you got to have a down payment. And it's not just a down payment, it's down payment and closing cost. Plus, you need to take a look at the type of home you're purchasing. If you're in an area with a lot of new homes, you don't have to worry too much about replacing the air conditioning unit or putting in new flooring. But if you've got to update the home, some of these older homes are going to need some work.
Yeah, and there's big ticket items that we always talk about, and your inspector is going to do an inspection. They're going to find things that are wrong with the house and tell you about them to kind of preempt you and warn you to make sure you're paying the correct amount and you know about these things. And then, of course, we're going to negotiate those repairs as much as we can. But there's items that are going to be big ticket items that can really take a chunk of cash to fix. HVAC, if you need a new roof, you have to pay a insurance deductible. Anything with like an oven or an appliance of that kind, right? So there's things you have to plan for, and just trying to get into a house with the minimum down payment and then not having anything on top of that can really be a problem.
Yep, so you just have to know your market. So if you're looking in an area with homes that are 20 to 30 years old, that's right in the sweet spot of new air conditioning units being installed in the next 3 to 5 years. So be aware of the location, the age of the homes, and the type of homes so that you can add into your down payment, closing cost, and whatever updates you need to add to that home. Now, here's the trick question. This trick question has come up, and the old school realtor will always answer it the same way because they don't really care whether you get this right or not. They just want to sell you a house. What kind of reserves do you need? This is number 3. The old school answer is, oh, well, you need 6 months of reserves. But really, is that kind of a trap?
Well, and the honest answer is it all depends. It all depends on your type of employment, how easy it is to find a new job, if you were to get laid off from your particular position, if you're switching industries, how much experience you have, your spending habits, because is it 6 months of income or is it 6 months of costs? I like to always do 12 months of costs. I like to have that, and even when I'm buying investment properties, I like to have $10,000 per property I own currently, plus $10,000 for the new one, plus 12 months of cost for myself. That's how conservative I am, but I'm a little bit different type of person. It all depends. Some people, if they have really high-flying industry, like in tech sales or in IT software, where they know they can basically find a job the next day and they make a lot of income, they may not need that same level and they can kind of reach, but I think it all really depends.
That's true. And here is something else that a lot of lenders and realtors don't tell you in advance, and that's to prepare for the changes in your escrow account in years 2, 3, and 4. This is going to be number 4 because there's this little dirty secret that you qualify and say, well, your monthly payment's going to be $2,500 a month. And you get in there, and for 12 months, your payment is $2,500 a month. But guess what? It's not $2,500 a month going forward. For a big surprise in the second year of your escrow account.
Yeah, and that's why when I bought that Watauga house, I really fine-tuned my process on this, or I actually built my own amortization schedule, and I started looking up the exact tax rates every time I buy a house, or giving this to clients as well, the final numbers. And so I actually can calculate pretty precisely what the first year should have been with those correct taxes, because if that person has been in that house and the taxing authority hasn't caught up, then they could be paying a much lesser amount in taxes, where if whenever you move in, they're going to get that new number basically from MLS. And so they're going to know the new value of the house, which is obviously appreciated a lot, and you're going to be paying, sometimes double or more of the taxes. And so you need to account for that. And those first year payments aren't. And so I like to give the actual calculation, and then we just estimate the insurance pretty conservatively, get that pretty close, and we're within probably $50 a lot of the time.
So you have to really understand this. Let's say you bought a house for $400,000, but it was on the tax rolls for $300,000 because of deductions and senior citizen discounts or whatever was in there. But the taxing authority had it at 3, you're buying it at 4. And if the tax rate in that location is 2.4%, your taxes are going to go up $2,400 the next year. And what does that mean to you? It means that you're going to go up in your house payment by $400. They're going to have $200 a month to catch up for what they missed, and they're going to have another $200 to make sure it doesn't happen next year. So if your payment was $2,000, it's about to be $2,400. Secondly, insurance companies, if you're a first-time home buyer, give you a newcomer discount. So your insurance policy will automatically go up the second, third, and fourth year, catching up with that newcomer discount now that you're an established customer, because they give you a lower rate to get you in the door, and then they charge more each year.
Yeah, so I have 3 things on that actually. So for the first one on the taxes, whenever you're qualifying for the loan, it's actually for kind of the taxes right now. So before they adjust it is the number they're using. So you're qualifying for the lower amount, even though we all know it's going to go up. So it's kind of a quirky thing in the real estate industry. I don't know why it's like that. That's why I've implemented this new process. And then with the insurance, to your point, they're always going up all the time. And so what we like to do is actually shop for new insurance basically every year. Sometimes when we go to the new policy, it doesn't really go up to the second year, but we've noticed on this third year, they've really gone up. So I'm actually shopping right now for some new insurance rates because it's basically doubled in 2 years. And then the last thing, just to give you an example, all of this putting it together, when we bought the first house in Fort Worth, my payment was like around $1,250, $1,250, and that was in 2015. And now in 2023, my payment's in the 1900s. So nothing has changed. I haven't refied. Nothing's different except for taxes and insurance, and it's $700 more, which is almost like 60% of the total.
Yeah, so you've got to be ready for those things, and don't be surprised when they happen. Number 5 is, let's talk about what your real comfort zone is. Now, if you call the 1-800 number, or sometimes a lender will just tell you, oh, you qualify for $3,000 a month. Well, maybe you only want to spend $2,500 a month. That's when we sit down and we work backwards with the principal and interest, the property taxes, and the insurance, and we calculate what the real home should sell for to get to 25%, deduct out the down payment, create a loan amount. But you need to determine what your comfort zone is. Don't listen to the lender. Don't listen to the guy on the 1-800 number. You need to find out what's comfortable for you and what type of job you have. Are you in a commission income? Is your income steady? Is it growing? Is there a chance it could shrink? So you need to determine what's best for you and work from there and go backwards from that number.
You'll notice this too. Whatever you qualify for, your eyes are probably going to bug out of your head, because the first house that we qualified for, we were like in the 390s, and we ended up buying a 175, which was like a 15% of our gross income for the month. And so I've kind of kept that as the norm, although now maybe I'm regretting it a little bit with a baby on the way. Nori's 6 months pregnant. Our house is looking smaller and smaller all the time as her belly gets bigger and bigger, but at the time, that was the decision we made, and we've been able to save extra money because of those things and buy rental property. So hindsight's 2020, but it's a balance that you need to find, and you need to have the conversation with both your realtor and with your spouse or significant other. Don't let the lender tell you how much you should buy. They're just telling you how much you qualify for, and those things are completely different.
Yep. So use your judgment, and let's determine a lifestyle. If you don't want to be house poor, you may want to travel. You want a nicer car. You may want to put a lot back for savings. You may have a college kid coming up that you want to put through college. So pick a number that's more comfortable and fits your lifestyle. Now, Russell, where are the interest rates right now?
Yeah, so we've really been ping-ponging around a little bit on interest rates. They've really moved up since the last time we talked. I think that we were at the 7.7 area last time. They went all the way up to 8.02, according to the average from Mortgage Daily News. So again, that was the average, but that was the first time I think we've seen 8% in like 20 years. So they really went up. Now they've come back down a little bit to 7.88. We've had some new economic numbers, and things are again moving around quite dramatically, but we have come down from the highs, but we're still pretty high at that 7.88 for the 30-year conventional.
Yep. And going back to the listing inventory, it's still two different stories. Inner city, like in Grapevine, Colleyville, Keller, Southlake, closer into the airport, we're shrinking in the number of units. We listed 33 houses last week. The market sold 22 of those, and that gives us a total of 334, which is down 5 from the week before. In the Alliance Corridor, we added 54 listings, 22 went under contract, but we added 22 total listings on now. So now we have 433 versus 411 from the week before. In the Flower Mound area, it's kind of quiet there. They only added 19 listings. They had 25 go under contract, so they're down 12 units at 220. In the Frisco, Plano area, they added 85 listings. 43 went under contract last week, and they're up 13 to 695 as total units for the Frisco Plano market. So as we were watching and talking about last week, that Alliance area is slowing down, and so there may be some pricing opportunities there. If you're thinking about buying, Alliance could be the spot to go get a deal.
Yeah, if I was buying an Alliance right now, I would be really aggressive in trying to grab something. And as we tick lower in that area, because I have that search on for the client, I just keep seeing price reduction after price reduction, and they're getting lower and lower. The price per square foot is going down. I'm starting to get tempted to buy another rental property over there, but I'm really not in a good spot with a baby coming in 3 months. But, if you're looking in that area, give us a call, because I'm pretty sure we could find you something with a really good deal. Well, we hope those give you some good thoughts to get started. Again, if this is all overwhelming to you, this isn't meant to scare you. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg to get into the process. But what your real first step is to give us a call, and then we'll help you go from there and get you connected to the right people and have those conversations. But thanks for watching. Again, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.